kiss me, kiss me. Just going with Katy Perry, I think.
Sounds right.
I don't know.
But kiss me in your forehead,
dude. Yeah, and I was like,
I don't know if that's the word.
freaking. He is so.
If it's not, it's very close.
Dude, like he's automatic with the random songs. Like that's his thing.
Is he a Gucci Mane guy? Like,
the East Atlanta Santa. That's how I found out that Gucci Mane was called the East Atlanta Santa. This is Sean Johnson.
Oh yeah, Sean. Yeah,
yeah, around Christmas,
dude.
Yeah,
100%. Are we recording? Nice. Sean would appreciate it. Shout out.
Oh no, that's
probably get cut out.
Said.
What? It's got to sound similar to that though.
Just kiss me, kiss me, infect me with your love and fill me with your poison.
Yeah, that was
close
Sean.
enough. Yours is the G version.
Let's get started.
All right, guys, we're back with another episode. I feel weird doing this because it's normally Scotty, but he couldn't make it tonight. We miss you, brother. But anyways, we're back for another.
Do we?
I just want to be nicer to him than he is about me when I'm not here. You know,
This will probably
Kill
be
him with
the
kindness.
shortest episode in,
he did say we were going to
F4R
need 2
history.
guests,
yeah,
so we took his advice.
that's right.
Even though I hate to admit that, but anyways, so we got 2 guests today. So we're back with another episode. We're excited, man. Appreciate you guys for being here. Jacob's going to give us a little recap of our last episode. We're going to read some from the Bible, and then we'll dive right in.
Yeah. If y'all missed it, the last episode was with Captain Berryman, one of Scotty's former captains. I highly advise to go back and listen to that one. That was pretty cool listening to his history with like the Mormon faith and coming from that to Christianity or to Protestant. And so that was very interesting and got into a lot of good stuff on that one. So be sure to check that one out. And I'm going to move into our scripture of the day because it's more than just a verse. I went with the whole chapter of Psalm 34. There's just a lot of good stuff to get into there, but I'm going to go ahead and read that once I find it. All right. There we go. I will bless the Lord at all times. His praise shall continually be on my mouth. His soul makes its boast in the Lord. Let the humble hear and be glad. O magnify the Lord with me, and let us exalt his name together. I sought the Lord, and he answered me, and delivered me from all my fears. Those who look to him are radiant, and their faces shall never be ashamed. This poor man cried, and the Lord heard him and saved him out of all his troubles. The angel of the Lord encamps around those who fear him and delivers them. O taste and see that the Lord is good. Blessed is the man who takes refuge in him. O fear the Lord, you his saints, for those who fear him have no lack. The young lions suffer and want hunger, but suffer want and hunger, but those who seek the Lord lack no good thing. Come, O children, listen to me. I will teach you the fear of the Lord. What man is there who desires life and loves many days, that he may see good? Keep your tongue from evil and your lips from speaking deceit. Turn away from evil and do good. Seek peace and pursue it. The eyes of the Lord are toward the righteous, and his ears toward their cry. The face of the Lord is against those who do evil, to cut off the memory of them from the earth. When the righteous cry for help, the Lord hears and delivers them out of all their troubles. The Lord is near to the brokenhearted and saves the crushed in spirit. Many are the afflictions of the righteous, but the Lord delivers him out of them all. He keeps all his bones. Not one of them is broken. Affliction will slay the wicked, and those who hate the righteous will be condemned. The Lord redeems the life of his servants. None of those who take refuge in him will be condemned. So the reason I went with that one, I feel like it speaks a lot to, obviously, like going through hard times and pretty much, walking through hard times. And I feel like that's kind of the state of where we're at in this nation. I mean, just over the past like couple of months, man, it's just been one thing after the other, one blow after the other. And I feel like pretty much everywhere you turn, we're starting to lose like strong leaders too.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of been devastating. So that's kind of one of the reasons I went with this one, because this actually takes place. This is David crying out. I think I did some study on it, but like he's crying out in a cave with others who fled with him from when he was one of the times he's running from Saul, and he's actually he had actually fled to Gath, which is the city where Goliath was from, and he pretty much acted insane to try and get away from them as well, and so there's just a lot going on, but the Lord delivered him from it all. So I don't know. What do you guys think?
No, I think that's definitely a good chapter. I like how it talks about how you'll know who's following the Lord, because they'll be pretty much be happy, and they'll have a glow in their face. That definitely stuck out to me. Just being a Christian, walking and following God and having that in your life, I feel like that's definitely an outward projection of showing that, and you'll know his people by how they act, and they should be happy, pretty much.
I definitely think if you need some encouragement, you can find it there in that chapter.
For sure. I like the idea, like towards the beginning, pretty much verses 1 through 3, I think. Yeah, so he starts out David starts out by saying, I will bless the Lord. So it's like, singular. But then almost immediately he moves right into, oh, magnify the Lord with me, let us exalt his name together. So I like how he recognizes that, like, just him praising God or crying out to him is almost not enough. Like, we all need it, like, we're all in this together. Like, I think there's power in numbers for sure.
Yeah.
I think actually at my church we've actually been going through the story of David and Goliath and all that, and our preacher brought up a couple of weeks ago that there's X amount of chapters about David and him actually being victorious over Goliath, but then there's actually more chapters about him cave dwelling, on the run, under persecution, and kind of since then I've been trying to read about it and look into it, and it's kind of cool to see, because it's like, we talk about him being a hero of the faith, but there's so much about him crying out to the Lord and his times of need that it speaks volume.
Absolutely.
Cool.
You got anything else? All right. So I wanted to share one more thing that I found in this study. It's pretty kind of like eye opening, and I don't know, like, do y'all have like an actual, like, I'm just curious, like, I'm not saying that you have to get one, but like, do y'all have like a study Bible that has the like cross references and stuff that, like?
I do not yet.
Mine doesn't know.
I do, but I've gotten into the habit. It's so convenient on my phone, which is it's a good thing. But then you also kind of lose some of that. But at the same time, the Bible app's got a lot of stuff.
It does. So I just want to share this. And there's several other references in here, like cross references that are notated in mine. But this is the one that like really stuck out to me. Was that there's verse 20 says, "He keeps all his bones; not one of them is broken." And so this is actually like one of the prophecies that Christ fulfills. And that's found in John 19:36.
We listened to that the other day.
Yeah.
Bear with me.
Well, we'll talk. I think we're on 19. Right?
Didn't we listen to the church service at the station?
Oh, yeah.
I think you talked about it.
You're right.
Maybe I'm confusing it with. I was thinking it was.
I think it was. I think you're right.
Someone recently talked about this.
So
Somewhere.
Yeah.
So verse 35, he who saw it has borne witness. His testimony is true, that he knows that he's telling the truth, that you may also believe. For these things took place that the scripture might be fulfilled. Not one of his bones will be broken. And then John 19:36, and those few words that are pretty much word for word out of Psalm 34:20. There's another cross reference to Exodus 12:46 and Numbers 9:12. And I'll just do Exodus 12:46 because I think they're pretty much identical on those two. But I don't know why pastors have those like the little like
Sign here.
highlighted
stickers.
the highlighted stickers, the highlighted tabs.
Just pop it over.
All right, so 12:46. This is talking about the institution of the Passover. So it shall be eaten in one house. You shall not take any of the flesh outside the house, and you shall not break any of its bones. Talking about the lamb.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. They're just like so cool how it all just like ties in together. And I mean, it clearly shows that God ordained it that way from the beginning.
Absolutely. That's really cool.
So, anyway.
Appreciate it. Well, without further ado, I'm going to introduce these two gentlemen. We got Connor and we got Tristen. I've had the pleasure of working with both these guys. Still working with Tristen now. Connor left us.
Traitor.
We're not bitter about it at all. But he no longer works with us. He rarely talks to us anymore. I'm just glad he showed up.
Yeah.
Totally joking. But I think very highly of these guys. They both have an awesome story to tell. Definitely appreciate you guys coming on, and taking time away from your families. We appreciate y'all very much. But I'll let y'all do some more introduction, kind of tell a little bit about yourselves. If y'all want to talk about some of the stuff we talked about earlier, just kind of y'all starting your careers together, stuff like that. Just wherever you want to start, and then we'll kind of direct it from there. But we definitely appreciate y'all coming on.
You go first.
So this is the first one. I know we've done episodes with two guests before, but this is actually the first time I've ever been on with two guests. Unfortunately, I couldn't make the last time we had two guests, so this is kind of uncharted territory for me. So I hope I didn't set y'all up poorly. So whoever wants to start, please feel free.
I think you brought up earlier that that it was pretty cool that we're both here because Connor and both I were in the same recruit class. So we were at the academy for 16 months with each other. We came out, we were neighboring stations. So even after we left, we stayed in contact. We were on calls with each other. And then, about 3 years ago now, Connor wised up and decided to transfer over to 11. And we worked together ever since then. And me and him were really close. And
Yeah, so we got hired on in March of 2019. So we've been with the department for right at 6.5 years.
Yeah.
Before that, I worked with Oconee County Sheriff's Office for 6 months. Worked in a jail there and learned that you needed a lot of patience.
Yeah.
to be in that field.
Oh yeah. Well,
So-
especially in the jail division. Yeah.
Oh,
for sure.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was still really young. I was probably 21.
Okay.
Like not post certified, nothing like that.
Yeah.
So that's where I started, and that's where it ended.
Yeah.
I was like, so I
Came
knew
to
it.
his senses.
100%. I knew a driver in Athens, and we did part-time work together, tree work,
Okay.
and that was fun. So knowing him, he was the only firefighter then that I knew that did it full time, and I lived in Athens. So I asked him like, "Hey, are y'all hiring?" At the time, they weren't. They didn't have like a recruit school or nothing like that, and he told me about Gwinnett, and yeah. That's the only place I applied for, and I had 11 days to give Oconee County before our recruit class started. Yep.
So mine was a little bit different. I went to college. I played sports in college, played football. And
Where
then
at? Where'd you play at?
North Greenville University.
Okay, nice.
South Carolina.
Yeah.
And my senior year, like the summer, I guess, before my senior year, my wife was working at a doctor's office. Met a lady, one of her best friends now there, and her husband worked for the fire department. So we got to be really good friends, and he convinced me to apply. And I did, and luckily they were hired me. And as soon as I graduated that December, and then that March is when I started. So
Nice.
it's good.
Another pretty cool thing, just talking about me and Jackson together, is we didn't know it at the time. We didn't know each other, but we actually played
Oh yeah.
football against each other. And Jackson, their team was a lot better than mine. So they were
High
they
school
were
days.
I was
Yeah.
about to ask, so high school ball. Okay.
Yeah.
yes
Okay, gotcha.
yeah I didn't play college ball.
He went to work.
Yeah. Yeah, went to work. Well,
Smart,
You
man.
could call it that, yeah. But
Nice. Okay.
yeah, so Jackson's team was one of the teams that we saw on our schedule, and we just dreaded it. I was like, we knew we were going to get handed 100%.
Was that was here in Georgia?
Yeah, so I went to Oglethorpe,
Okay.
and Jackson went to Jefferson.
Jefferson. Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Has a state ring.
Did you
Yeah,
wrestle?
He's a big deal.
Did you wrestle too?
No,
No?
I play
Okay.
football and baseball.
Oh, okay.
So
Is that
I know
challenging right
Jefferson's
now?
a pretty big wrestling school too. So.
no, they are.
You got a state ring?
Yeah.
I didn't
didn't
know
know
that. No, I didn't.
Oh, man, yeah.
You need to bring it in. I want to see it.
All right. I'll bring it in.
I asked him to.
I'll bring it tomorrow.
He didn't break it out for me.
He knew you were going to leave him.
Yeah, probably.
Nice, dude. I didn't know that. That's awesome.
So was there ever I mean, I know you said you kind of got into public service by, working with the sheriff's office first. Like before that time for either of you, like was there a draw or like a certain time, specific time where you felt like called by God or were, felt led to get into public service?
Yeah, I would say so. So sort of answering that, but going into another direction also. I'm the next to youngest out of 7 boys,
Okay.
and my dad's a preacher. So
Gotcha.
I grew up preacher's kid.
Okay.
3 of my older brothers, no, at the time, I'm sorry, just 2, were in the military.
Okay.
And I definitely like the idea of being in the military, having some kind of like servant's heart always. Is I wanted to help people, but I didn't go the military route because I was with my wife now. We high school sweethearts. We were together in our freshman year of high school, and we've been together ever since. So I knew that it would crush her. Not saying that she's 100% the reason I didn't do it, but it, and my head back then, I was like, yeah, I can't do it. And I had one of my buddies from a church I grew up in, worked for UGAPD, and I actually started there before I went to Oconee, but I was only 19 years old. So they gave me like a security job through the police department, which also was also not the move.
Yeah.
But I did that until I was 21.
Gotcha.
And then when I turned 21, that's when I went to Oconee.
Gotcha. Okay.
So I knew I always wanted to do something in public service.
Okay. Cool.
That's sort of how I got steered into being in the fire department.
Nice. Yeah.
I was like younger. I felt like I wanted to help people so but I never knew what it looked like.
Yeah.
I would say right off the bat, everybody's like a doctor, so I was like, it'd be pretty cool to be a doctor, be able to help people and all this. So that's probably, I would say, my biggest look to, that's kind of like a public service.
Yeah.
But it's never really something I hugely pursued. But I just knew I just want to help people, love helping people. But as soon as I feel like I got hired and started running calls and stuff, I immediately knew. I was like, yeah, this is what it was for me.
Yeah.
So
cool.
It's fun.
So, forgive me. Somebody stole my phone, so I don't. I don't have that one.
It's dang Apple. Like they got to update everything, and so you can only use certain models for phones. To record.
Yeah.
So.
Either way, I think we can wing it. So backtracking a little bit, we talk about getting into the first responder and everything. I want to hear about your faith too. Like when did you did you grow up in church? I know you said your dad was a preacher. I'd love to hear a little bit more about that. Maybe backtrack a little bit, and then we'll kind of tie that into we'll get into that. We'll kind of tie it in with our careers as well. But if y'all don't mind telling us a little bit about how you grew up, going to church and stuff like that, which I know y'all's stories a little bit, but I'd love to be able to kind of dive into that a little bit with y'all.
So I grew up going to church. I was raised mainly by my grandma, so it was me and my brother. But we were always in church growing up, and I would definitely say at the time she was our spiritual spirit of our household. So we were in church throughout most of our life, and I would say, I guess when I was in middle school, we kind of stopped going as much, and then I know up in high school we kind of stopped going at all. But it was nothing, I would say that it was like religious or anything like that, but my grandma started having health issues and stuff like that, so it was kind of just got put on the back burner. So throughout that, she was the prayer warrior. She was, had the strongest faith, that thing, that kind of thing like that. So then I would say, then I was kind of like, on the fence with it. Like I knew God was real. I knew the main stories of the Bible. I want to say I was immersed in it. So then when I went to college, I went to was a Christian college. But it wasn't any, I wouldn't say on purpose. Like I was going there, they were offering me a scholarship. It was a good thing. I was like, okay, I'm gonna go here. But now in hindsight, I feel like that was kind of like God leading me in the right direction. So when I got there, I was still immersed around it. It was smaller school, and I would say even then it was good being around it, but I still wasn't, kind of throwing myself fully into religion. Well, I say religion, into Jesus. Mm-hmm. So then fast forward to, I get married, and then when we started going to Bethlehem Church, and when we started going there, I don't know when it was, but we went there for like the first time, and they were singing a worship song, and it kind of just hit me, and I felt like I knew I was in like the right spot. And so ever since then, it was kind of like it kind of sparked from there, and it kind of just set a wildfire after that. So, I mean, ever since then, I just feel like I've felt myself grow in my faith, and it keeps getting stronger, and especially more as I got into the Word. Because that's probably another big thing when I was younger, teenager, and all that. I didn't read my Bible. So I was going off of hearsay, things that I knew growing up, the main stories, or what everybody tells you. But as I started reading, I was like, oh well, this is what it actually says, or this is not what they meant,
Yeah.
So it was good with that, and ever since then it was just trying to have a better relationship with him myself, and then trying to share it with other people too, because I think that's one of the things I figured out. He calls us to share our stories, and also share the Word with people.
So I talk about this all the time. It's exciting to me to look back in my life and to see all the pieces that got put together that I didn't even realize were getting put together. And I was thinking of that when you were talking about going to a Christian college. It wasn't really planned. It was planned, but it wasn't planned by you, maybe. But isn't that cool looking back on your life, though, and seeing the pieces that have come together? And kind of
Absolutely.
So.
And the thing about it was, like, even there, like, we had to go to chapel like once a week, and then I was not happy to go.
Was that like a football requirement, or was that
No,
just a
it
school?
was a school requirement.
That's pretty cool.
You only had to go once a week?
Yeah.
School I went to, we had three a week.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Lucky. I'm just kidding.
But even then, I was
But
like,
no,
man,
I had the same, not the same experience. I mean, just similar. Like, I hated reading growing up. I still don't really like reading. But
I feel that, brother.
But yeah,
big time.
Words are hard, But I don't know, man. Like, I think there's something. I feel like there's something like spiritual there, like warfare, and like especially in the minds of a lot of young people, like
Yeah.
like the devil, like demonic, whatever you want, however you want to phrase it. Like I think there's something going on there that's like
I think it's easy to get distracted.
yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
most of it is not even, I would say, malicious stuff. It's kind of
Yeah.
you just get distracted.
Yeah.
Being a young kid, you want to have fun, you want to do all this, hang
Exactly.
out with your
Yeah.
friends. It's like,
Yeah.
I don't want to do this. Or for me, it was video game. I love playing video games when I was younger. So it's like I'd stay up 3-4 a.m. playing video games, go to sleep, wake up. Man, I don't want to go to chapel.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to do this. It's like that's not the thing I want to do. But so it's definitely distractions that at that time we felt like it was important.
Yeah, that's right. I just think there's so much power in the word and words in general. Like, I think that sometimes we just get, like you said, distracted. But like, I don't know. I feel like there's like an intentionality behind that. Like, I don't know if that makes sense. What I'm trying to say.
I think so. He could have taken time instead of playing video games. He could have carved out 15 minutes to read his Bible.
Yeah.
But he didn't, which I'm not. You know what I'm saying? I didn't either. Dang sure didn't. But now I feel like I am a little more intentional with my time. And a lot of that came from Connor was telling me about listening to the Bible on the way into the station. And I was like, you know what? I got a longer ride now. That was not long after I came over to 11. And that's the furthest I've ever driven to work.
Yeah.
And I was like, shoot, man, it's perfect time. I got more time in the morning, And it's not quite the same as reading in the Bible and seeing where it brings the references and stuff together. But it's still awesome being able to listen to the Bible and listen to some kind of study with it too, instead of just falling asleep on the way to work.
Yeah.
And so just being intentional with your time is, I
right.
think it kind of comes with age too.
Yeah.
And I think just having young kids too teaches you to be a little more intentional with your time.
That's true.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm a lot more productive now than I ever was before. I look back, I was like, dude, I could have done so much with all this time I had. What was I doing?
Yeah.
Sleeping?
Yeah.
I love a good nap nowadays, though.
Hey. Facts. 100%.
Is that what you're kind of saying, though?
Yeah, pretty much.
Cool. So,
What about you? Yeah.
So for me, as long as I can remember, I've like always been in church. Young age, like till now, pretty much. So I've been fortunate to grow up in a household that always made that a priority, and it should be. So as far as like my faith, when I was really little, like 6 years old, my and I'll explain this now, but what I call my dad is my stepdad. He came into my life when I was 10 years old. So when I was younger, my biological dad, he passed away when I was 7. But when I was 6, I was young. He did what he thought was right, and all good intentions led me to the Lord. And me being young, I didn't fully understand it, So still growing up in church. Fast forward a few years, my mom marries who I call my dad, John Cinereski. Great man. His last name is also my alias for social media and stuff. Just because people that I grew up with, they knew me by Connor Cinereski, not Connor Holcombe. But him and my mom had been married for a few years. And I grew up under his preaching, and my dad can preach. I mean, he steps on everybody's toes. He's very old fashioned. He preaches the Bible, It was one Sunday night service. We actually were going to church in Wilkes County at the time. He was assistant pastor there, and he did like all the night service and stuff. And he was preaching. I couldn't tell you what he was preaching on, like what book, nothing like that. I was 12 years old, so I've been going to church, stewing on like what it really meant to be saved and give your life to Christ and understand, what it truly meant. And he did an altar call, and I remember throwing my hand up, like, hey, anybody in the audience, wants to give your life to Christ, just throw your hand up. Somebody will pull you to the side. I was like weeping, like threw my hand up, and really for me, it's just gathering what it truly means. And growing up in church, I was thinking that you have to do all these things. Go to church 3 times a week. Give in the offering plate, whatever. And true salvation is, me and Jackson had a conversation about this, and I'm sure me and you have also, Clint, is, Jesus paid it all. Like, there's nothing that we can do to finish his finished work on the cross. So for me, being a young kid, like just finally having it click, it's like, you put all your faith in Jesus. Everything that he did, he came and lived the perfect life, died on the cross, rose 3 days later. Believing in that, there's nothing I can do to work my way there. There's nothing. It's all about what he's done, And so when that finally resonated for me is when I know that I'm saved, Everything past that, so that, complete translation in my life, growing up, going to church, and our dad had us doing everything in church. We were little kids singing on Sunday, like he made it. He didn't make us. He had us preach to like grown people sermons. We're gonna talk about like nervous, yeah.
I would say
that
I
was
sang
some nerves.
as well.
It's like, all right, man, 30 minutes, go up and do it. Like, you're like 13, 14 years old. Wow, yeah. But I did that a few times. So yeah, it was good. I don't know where I'd be if it wasn't for John Cinereski. He's a great man, 100%. Definitely what we needed in our lives. I didn't even know it, but definitely appreciate it for sure. But yeah, that's sort of my testimony to my faith.
I sang solo at church. So
I'd
you
love
couldn't
to
hear
hear
me.
So love to hear it. I think that'd be a good segment in this show.
Did you hear the punchline?
What's that?
I said I sang solo. You couldn't hear me.
Nice.
I never sang at church. Well, not up front or anything.
Front and center, boy.
It was awesome.
Front and center. Also, I guess my salvation story, backing up, would be that summer, the first summer that I left high school, going into college. We had a speaker come and speak, and he spoke to us. And that my senior year, that my grandma had just passed. So she passed away my senior year, and I guess that's next summer. The guy comes to speak, and he pretty much he goes on and on about, he keeps, God loves you no matter what, where you come from, what you've been through. He wants to be there for you. He just keeps repeating it. And I'm sitting there. At one point, I'm sitting in my seat, shaking, like kind of. And he kind of does the same thing. He, hey, as if anybody wants to give their life to Christ right now, just stand up. And I remember there was a handful of us that stood up. I remember that, and it was a great feeling. It's one of those things. I definitely think that was the shift in my life. Well, I knew for a fact that Jesus Christ was our Savior and He died for us. But I would say it probably took me 4 years after that, I think, before my actions started actually changing toward. So I don't know. It's kind of like saying, looking back, how things can happen, but if you don't, act on it and kind of nurture what that was, that nothing's going to come of it.
Right.
But you got to start feeding it.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Absolutely. Talk about like altar calls and stuff. They're like, hey, everybody, bow your heads. We're praying. It's like, nobody's looking. Raise your hand. Do any of y'all ever look? All the time. 100%.
Really?
Every time if somebody says nobody's looking, I'm thinking to myself, man, somebody's looking.
Somebody's looking.
I'm somebody. Now, I used to look
know.
just out of nosiness, man, just wanting to look around. But now I find some joy in looking and seeing people raising their hand and thinking that, that they may be experiencing the Holy Spirit, tugging, and may potentially be a change in their life. Recently, and I don't do it every time, but sometimes I'll be peeking, But so the other day, this was actually the other day, and I mentioned the other day earlier in our conversation. I think we weren't recording, but it was also from months ago. It wasn't really the other day. Kara gives me grief about that all the time. But this really was the other day. We were at a funeral for a younger guy, and like generally, like at a funeral, is normally an older person, and you got kind of an older crowd there. But being a younger person, there was a ton of people there, and there's a lot of younger people there, and so early adulthood, stuff like that, I think is when a lot of people are making, whether it be college or whatever, making maybe poor decisions. Maybe they're not where they should be in their life. Maybe not where they want to be, whatever. And I think myself too back then. But there's a lot of impressionable people there that may be hearing the gospel when they normally wouldn't. They may not be going to church. They're going to a funeral. But the guy that was doing the funeral did a great job of keeping it brief, but also kind of getting into the gospel and what it means to know Jesus. And he did that. He did like an altar call where, he asked us to bow our heads and we were praying. And he asked if anybody, if they felt like they wanted to allow the Holy, wanted to have a relationship with Jesus just like they would to raise their hand. And I peeked, I ain't gonna lie. And I saw 3 different people raise their hands. And I was like, man, that's incredible. And to me, it was kind of a cool thing. Like, we're in a funeral. This is not a happy
the
time.
last place you expect that to happen.
Yeah. But I imagine some of these people are hurting. And this was somebody I knew through an acquaintance. This wasn't really, I was there more for support for than a personal relationship with this person. But anyways, these people are hurting. They're in a trying time of their life. They're in a low spot, and I feel like that's one of the better places to find God and to start that relationship with Jesus. And it's just incredible to me to know that even in a sad time that we think of as a sad time here on earth, people are sad, people are crying, they're mourning, but there could be a lot of good that comes from it too. So I find that very encouraging. And I was kind of glad I had Pete too, because then I immediately started praying for those people, And so my nosiness is sometimes just nosiness, but I think it got a decent purpose with it. But it made me think of that for whatever reason. I felt like I should share it. But
Was it Scotty's dad in his testimony? I don't know if you remember this or not, but he shared about, I think it was maybe his, like Scotty's dad, so Scotty's granddad, that like his dad would hear him like kind of praying under his breath in the church service, like during the altar call or the invitation, like just kind of saying a general prayer for anybody there that doesn't know Christ or isn't saved, that they would, that they would make that decision.
right.
That was something like pretty impactful from his testimony, that I was like, I started kind of implementing that,
Yeah.
during our services at the Grove.
Do you ever peek?
I have before, yeah.
Nice.
Bunch of
Let's
people.
make sure I'm not the only one.
I would be very surprised if somebody would say never.
Yeah.
I'd be very surprised.
Yeah. And like I said, it was just out of pure nosiness. I'm not going to lie. At the beginning. Now I feel like it's something that I feel like it would be more positive. I can try to pray for those people. Even if I'm not the one that meets with them and prays
For
them,
sure.
I can still be praying for
Yeah.
them. And I believe in the power of prayer for sure.
Yeah.
So, but I don't remember that from that. But that's awesome. I might just start doing that too, even if I don't look.
Yeah.
Just as a kind of a generic prayer. That hopefully somebody has felt this to be an impactful moment for them, and maybe may make all the difference in their life. So that's pretty cool. I like that better than being nosy. Just praying, just to do the right thing, but not peeking. But I know myself, I'm probably still gonna peek.
Do y'all ever pray like ahead of time, like ahead of like services, or?
I usually
I feel like I've done it before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like generally that's probably a good practice to like start to, or something good to put into practice.
Yeah.
I'll be totally honest with you,
Yeah,
I
for sure.
never have. Like never thought. Talking about praying for like, hey,
Like just ahead of time, like Holy Spirit come, like let your presence be felt and known here.
Yeah.
At this this Sunday coming up, or
never.
yeah.
A lot of times, like when I get to listening to the Bible or whatever, or if I, doing a study, a lot of times I'm like in my truck in the mornings on the way to work, I'll say a prayer before I start listening to the Bible or listening to any kind of Bible study. I'll kind of pray, but never going to church. I don't know why. To me, I feel kind of silly admitting this, but it's never crossed my mind. I feel kind of foolish now. Like I should have been doing this all along.
I didn't mean to make you feel that way. I was
No. I mean, that's a good thing. I'm gonna start doing that. That's awesome.
Yeah. Or even, even our workplaces too. I mean, I feel like that's something we could. I mean, I haven't really done that. I'm just thinking out loud here. Like,
Yeah.
That's
I've
something I try
definitely
to do
done it.
coming in.
Talking about driving in, having a long drive in, listen to the Bible on the way in. I've definitely done it, like on the way to work. Just like ask God, like, hey, I hope I just give everybody have a good day at work and be safe, get home to our families safe. I've definitely done that. And going back to like praying over services for church, jogging my memory a little bit. Being a preacher's kid, we definitely did.
I imagine so. Yeah.
Oh yeah, because we were always praying for the services and stuff. So yeah, that's probably where it started to taper off. But back on that note, like if I know that there's somebody who's struggling, or if it's somebody that you've invited to church and maybe they don't go all the time, and you're not so sure about their faith. I think I've done that before. Praying that the service just impacts them in a good way.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
I've been slacking. We need to get it together.
Come on, Clint.
Well, I know we've talked about several different things. Y'all have to forgive me. I don't have the outline, but I'm just trying to keep up with keep it in order, some kind of, order. I want to know, because I know it's kind of briefly mentioned in the outline, but this may be a little bit of a stray, but how much do you think it helps to have some kind of solid foundation with the careers that we've chosen? How has your faith impacted you in your career so far? Has it helped you, or it could be personal, like whatever. But I remember having a conversation with a guy that I used to work around. We were on the engine together, and I remember him saying, he's like, man, I don't know how people do this job if they don't have faith. I remember, because I thought the same thing, but I never really talked to anybody about it before. I was like, man, that's a good point. I just kind of didn't really think about how other people were going through things. I've always thought about how I have, and I've always felt like my faith has played a big role. And in my testimony, I shared about that too with my career. It's where I am now. It's absolutely huge. I think it makes all the difference in the world with the perspective that I go into a lot of this stuff and how my days go. Nothing really weighs me down like it used to in some aspects, but I think it's made all the difference in the world. I'm curious on y'all's thoughts, or if there's anything that sticks out in y'all's career so far that has helped you. I don't know if y'all got anything like that you'd be willing to share, or
I think I'd probably say I don't think if I didn't have a relationship, that it would be as joyful as it is. Because as you all know, we see a lot of stuff, good, bad, and most of the time it's the worst. You see people emotionally at their worst, or just in life in general, where they've made bad choices, had things happen to them that wasn't their fault, but they're just in a bad situation. And I feel like it would just be really easy to get, disgruntled, mad, always asking, why did you let this happen? I think it would be easy and also to just, disregard them as well. Like, well, this is their fault. Well, they got themselves in this position. I'm here for a paycheck, and but on the flip side, it's like being a servant. I think is going to be it's the bottom line to that. So how can I help this person? And I know that's not the easiest thing to do at 3 a.m. Your fourth call after midnight, and somebody wants you to pick them up off the ground. Like, that can be very frustrating, but you're here to serve, right? So yeah, I definitely don't think that it would be as joyful, for sure. And not even the calls that the people come in contact with, but the guys at the station during the day, trying to figure out a way to serve them so everybody can have, like you're saying, like a good day, smooth as possible. But also, like, how can I help you? How can you help me get better? And I think that's also what it boils down to serving.
100%. Yeah, I agree. I feel like it's what the Lord wants us to do anyway. That's what He called us to do, is be servants. So I feel like when it is late at night, or maybe you're having an off day. There's stuff going on at home, whatever it may be. You come in, you're not normally as chipper as you would be, or just something's different. You're not super happy. You're not always gonna be. Not every day is a good day, but remembering, and it's easy to get in that rut of just running the same calls or whatever. And I feel like it helps just keep you in that servant's mentality. It's this is what the Lord wants us to do anyway. And try to bring some of that positivity back, because you also never know what kind of impact that you're going to have on somebody. We've all heard it said a million times is what somebody else's emergency is, you might not see it as your emergency, but it's not your emergency, it's theirs. So if you come in with a servant's mentality and a servant's heart, and treat them how you would want somebody to treat your family or you if you're at your worst day, and there's always a reward for that. So even when you might not be having the best day, if you have a positive impact on somebody else, that's always a good thing. I feel like that's what kind of helps me, try to stay positive, I guess, and keep it positive, for sure.
I think piggybacking off what you said about, it carrying over to your life outside of work is like, I couldn't imagine not having my faith and doing what we do and then coming home. And then I'm still having to be the best husband, the best father as possible.
Yeah.
Just because there's more days than not that I do have to lean on his strength to get me through those days.
100%.
Yeah. Because I can tell in the days that I don't ask for that patience or, hey, ask for his guidance, and I'm short fused. I'm not angry, but I'm just not enjoying my life and at home. And so that's something I start trying to do when I do come home, especially the long nights, like the shift, that I try to do, because hey, just help me get through this day, because it's very easy to fall into that.
Oh yeah,
that's true. That's a good point. Coming off work, most of the guys I've talked to about stuff like that have been similar answers. The joy was another thing was brought up before, but also the really good, reminder, like, hey, having that brings a lot of joy to us. We can share that with others around us. But then going home too, you're the first person that's kind of brought that up with the faith that I've talked to, and that's incredible. Because I think we're all guilty of that. Like, you're tired, beat down, your fuse is short, you just don't have the patience. And I've definitely found myself praying for a little extra patience too on those days, because your family deserves better. Like, you don't need to come home irritable, and they didn't do anything wrong. Shoot, your kids haven't seen you in 24 hours. They're excited that you're home, and here comes a grunt walking through the door. That ain't who I want to be.
Yeah.
So that's awesome. That's an awesome take too. Like, to really truly be, I think, the husband and the father that we're called to be, I think you need to have that solid foundation too for that. And I know we've talked about that too, but just that transition from shift to being off is a big time. What a wonderful time to take, on the way home, take a little quiet time, pray a little bit, kind of get your mind right, reset you a little bit before you get home with your family. It's awesome.
I think we'll go ahead and move into the question about, or asking about their call. A call that was, yeah. So, we've mentioned this several times before. Obviously, sometimes we don't like being asked what our worst call that we've ran. So don't feel obligated to say, talk about your worst. We don't want you to, don't want you to feel obligated to do that. But is there a call, significant, or, it can be a funny call. It can be anything that you want to share, like looking back over the years, so far, like what's something that's either been impactful or funny or anything.
Wait,
Fair
mine's gonna be more of a joke.
You can just say no.
No.
There's a couple that popped in my head, but not.
I would say that I don't know. I've been fortunate to not really, I guess, not like you let anything impact you, but running significant calls, I've been fortunate to not have them impact me a whole lot. I can't say that I've ran like something that I just can't get off my head,
Let me ask you this: do you think your faith has had a play in that at all?
Oh, 100%. Absolutely. Yeah. I feel like if I didn't have something else to go back to and pray about, because there's definitely been calls that, I would go back and, ask the Lord to help me through it, and from that, I believe that, there hasn't been anything that I just hold on to, It was like right before I left 11. I ran a call that could easily, if somebody in the same shoes, I could see it affecting, and I've even heard of similar instances affect people. And after I ran the call, I was like, man, this one might stick around for a while. But I've been fortunate to, for it not to. But I ran. I was on the engine and I rode in for a pediatric arrest. As a young boy, he was the exact same age as my little boy at the time. So, and somebody else when he was on the ambulance, same exact scenario.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. So, man, I checked with him because really I was just back there to help. I was back there for the care or whatever, and rode in, handed him off to the hospital. Unfortunately, it wasn't a good outcome. More or less, I was trying to support the medic that was on the ambulance, prayed about it, went home, hugged my boy, everything was fine. So I've just been fortunate that nothing has been there to stick,
Right.
And I wish everybody else could say the same.
I feel like the time in my career that calls bothered me was when I was the furthest from God. When my relationship wasn't there.
Yeah.
I would have called myself a Christian. I would have said, I knew I'd been saved before.
Yeah.
But I wasn't. I would have just been talking the talk. I certainly wasn't walking the walk in any shape or form of it. Not even close. And that's when it had the most effect on me. And I kind of alluded to that earlier. Where I feel like I am now in my life, I'm not exactly where I want to be, but I'm closer to where I want to be than I was then, for sure. And I feel so much different. Like I don't take this stuff doesn't weigh me down like it did at times. And I 100,000,000% think that has everything to do with my faith, and my relationship with my wife too, just sharing stuff. I don't feel like if I ever want to talk to her about something, I just talk to her about it now. I don't feel like I'm burdening her or anything like that. Whereas before I wouldn't. I was, I'm a strong guy. I don't need to talk to my wife about this.
Yeah.
But now, and I can talk to other guys too. I got Jacob. I know he'd answer the phone anytime I call him. Scotty, Mouton, you boys. I know that, and I know that God has placed those people in my life for that reason. We're a network of brothers in Christ before anything. And so I feel a lot of comfort knowing that as well. And I just don't feel like it has the weight on me like it has. I'm not saying we won't run a call tomorrow that bothers me.
Yeah.
But I feel so much more prepared to face those things now than I ever had before. And that's why I was curious in that. I feel like it, that's a good, good thing to point out for folks that are kind of on the fence about stuff or maybe just not sure. Man, there's so much peace that comes with a relationship with Jesus.
Yeah,
it's just
for
incredible.
sure. Yeah.
There's, in all aspects of life, there's so much peace that comes with it. So I didn't mean to segue off of what you're saying, but
No, I believe that for sure.
I'm sure that has a big part in why nothing's really stuck with you. So
Yeah. Just been fortunate, I feel like. But, yeah. like I said, I wish everybody else could say the same. I know it's definitely a big thing.
I would say mine's pretty similar. I wouldn't say there's anything that keeps me up at night or that replays in my head all the time. But I've had people ask me before, and there are two instances I would say that it kind of bothered me at the time, but I think it's one of those things because of my faith and working my way through it. It's not really affecting me now. The first one was my very first shift. We had just came off an apartment fire. I had one of my first shift. So, that was, one of the things I could show we got to do fresh out of the academy. It was, it was awesome. And then the very next call, the next couple calls is when I had my first pediatric rest. And the call itself didn't affect me because I think I was just driving the ambulance at the time. So I wasn't back there. But one thing I do remember is the mom carrying the baby out to a medic at the time, and just how it looked like a blue baby doll, just lifeless. And that was like obviously my first time seeing something like that, and then it literally just looked like somebody just took a baby doll off a shelf and held it in somebody's arms, and I'm like, dang, dude, like this is real. Like it just kind of blew my mind. So and I think it's just, like I said, it was my first shift out in the field, and so it's kind of one of those things that stuck to me. But I wouldn't say it bothers me. The next one would be we were trying to have our second kid, and we were having a little bit of trouble. And the night before I came to shift, or the evening, my wife was pregnant, but at the time she began miscarrying. So I remember that happening, and I asked her, I was like, hey, do you want me to stay home? Do we go to work? Like, what do you want me to do? She was like, oh, no, you can go to work. So I go to work, and I remember we were precepting somebody at the time, so we were 3 on the ambulance. And that same night, we were on a call, and it was a girl going through a miscarriage. And so it's kind of just, I guess, came full circle that, they were distraught, upset, and kind of then I was just thinking about, obviously how my wife was feeling at the time. And so that's one of those things I would say that it stuck with me. But
I got kind of a gut punch from one that I'd run. It was Kara had a miscarriage, and it was right after. I don't know if it was the shift after, 2 shifts, whatever, but it wasn't long after. We run this med call and get there, and it's this girl having a miscarriage. And that's the way it reads in the text. The information that we've got about the call on the computer, they're reading it. It sounds like a miscarriage. And I'm not proud to admit this, but immediately I was like, man, what was this girl calling 911 for? Like, she doesn't need us. Like, we didn't call 911. Like, this was in my mind. Like, we didn't, whatever, just. And a lot of it was, I think, a little bit of hurt that I'd held on to from the call, or from our experience, and kind of went into the call that I was just kind of grumpy, like, what are we going out here for? This is a waste of our time. And we get there, and the poor girl was there by herself, and she didn't have anybody to support her through it. And that was kind of a gut punch to me from the Holy Spirit, like, hey, you know what? You're supposed to be here to help somebody. And she thought she needed your help enough to call. So why don't you come up there with a good attitude and help her? And I just remember when I saw her by herself, and I know, because I was, as soon as I could get home, I was with Kara through it, and we had each other. And that was, it still sucks. It's still sad, but we had each other. And we supported each other through that. But she didn't have anybody there with her. And I to this day don't know the story. I don't know if her husband was working or boyfriend or whoever. I don't know if they were working. I don't know if they just weren't there. I don't know. But at the time, she was by herself. And I remember, like, man, what are you grumpy about? Like, you had an opportunity to help somebody, and you pull up acting like that. And that was kind of a gut punch. When you said that, it made me think about that. That's back before. That was earlier in my career when I didn't have the relationship that I felt like I should have. That wasn't who I wanted to be on that call. I think I'm a different person. The way I handle that call now is going to be totally different, than I did then. And I hate to admit it, but at the same time, I'm glad that I've learned and I'm not that same grumpy turd anymore. But, so I think it's good in our careers, I think it's good to be able to maybe bring some compassion that others aren't. And I think that kind of reflects our faith more than anything. So I don't know. I just kind of thought about that when you were talking about it. I know y'all were kind of laughing too when Jacob first asked. I'm sure you had some funny calls come up. We never really share any funny calls either. It always turns serious. So.
We've actually asked the audience, if anybody watches, if they'll send us some funny stories. That hasn't happened yet, so y'all could be the first.
Yeah,
to share a funny story.
Great.
I was wanting to. That's where I was planning on going the whole time.
I was laughing because in reality it's probably not that funny, but it's firefighter humor, so it's like.
Let's hear it.
You got one in mind? Tell us.
I don't have one in mind. It's
I do.
Started like
I've got one in mind.
I do.
I 100%.
You probably know where I'm going with this.
I don't know if I know.
No, I'll jog your memory. So it's funny that we were talking about startling folks earlier. Yeah. Oh yeah, you know.
Oh yeah.
Yes, bro. Oh, yeah.
I do know.
Oh yeah. So
Yeah,
I was.
This is a good one.
This is
Yeah, and this is Clint.
Okay.
So you'll appreciate this.
I had it coming. I love messing with people. I love scaring people. That's what we were talking about earlier. That he's kind of alluding to. We just recently scared somebody pretty bad at work, and we got a video of it. So we were sharing that video.
I wish I had a video.
So
of
anytime
this.
anytime something happens to me, whether it be a joke or whatever, I have it 100% coming to me. Sorry, I didn't.
No, you're good. So we'll get to the on a call part, but to give a little bit of background, and I'm sure you know, Jacob, but Clint's a little bit of a prankster.
Oh yeah.
So
I've heard.
I knew of it by one of our other friends that used to work with Clint at a different firehouse before he got transferred to 11, where all of us were working together during this time. And I'd already known Clint. We'd been hunting before, stuff like that. But I'd never worked in the same station as him. But I knew from one of our other buddies that, oh yeah, Clint likes to play pranks in the bunk room. Like we didn't sleep enough already at 11. Because that never happened.
I might be thinking of something different.
Oh no, you are thinking of something different, but I'm gonna get to that.
Okay.
So, Clint's first shift assigned to Station 11. I should have seen it coming, and I kind of did, but I thought I'd stayed awake past it. He sneaks into my bunk, and I had just fallen asleep, and I feel something tickling the bottom of my foot. And it didn't startle me awake. I just woke up and I did not move. I was like, man, Clint's in here right now, and he's trying to mess with me. So I wait. Like I said, I didn't move a muscle, and I feel him just slide his hand up under my blanket and start scratching my foot again. And I picked my foot up and just mashed his hand into the mattress. And Clint gets up. Oh, man, did I scare you? And I was like, nah, man, you just woke me up. But now you got it coming to you. So
I remember this because my bunk's across the hall from them. So
He's like, oh, man, I get you. Laughing. Like, nah, you just woke me up, man. I was trying to sleep. Pretty sure we got a call right after that, too. But anyway.
You're going to get woke up anyways. So.
True. So the next shift, I was walking back in the bunk, and Clint was laying there, and he's got his face buried right behind his phone. And, and you're in the dark, and you got your phone that close, you can't see anything behind it. Mm-hmm. So I pull his curtain back real quiet, didn't know I was there, And I don't get down, crawl, nothing. I just walked straight behind his phone. And I get maybe a foot away from him. And I grabbed a hold of him, and I was like, "What are you doing?" And he levitates off the bed, soars, and looks at me like he wants to fight for a second. And then he starts dying laughing. And he's like, "Man, you got me." And I was like, "Don't sneak in my bunk anymore." So fast forward, a few months later, we're precepting somebody on the engine. This is what we're on. So, man, we were getting blistered. It was our 4th after midnight, and it's only 3 a.m. None of us have been in bed. And they're riding 4 on the engine. They're precepting somebody. And so, like a good driver does when you're riding heavy on the engine, you don't get out on the med call. So we're running a med call, sort of sketch area of our first den. It's, and at 4 a.m.
I was watching the rigs, make sure nobody messed with them.
Yeah.
Watching
he was
them real closely.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, he was he was
closely.
watching all right. So, yeah, sort of, there could be some different activities going on in this neck of the neighborhood at 4 a.m., whatever. Well, we're getting a refusal. I'm on the ambulance, and I'm walking back to put the med bag up. The tailboard is getting a refusal. Well, when I walk back out to the rigs, I turn and look at the engine because I knew Clint was in there. And I see out of the side view mirror, he is passed out. He's leaned up against the window and probably drooling down the window. He is out. And so I go, throw the med bag, put it away, and I walk up to the driver door of the engine, and he is not moving. And he's, sure enough, leaned up against the door. So I grabbed a hold of the handle, and I put my other hand right in the crack of the door. Sling the door open, grab a hold of him, and rah! It's just yell. And sure enough, same thing. He levitates off the seat and is screaming.
He got me.
Yelling.
Really good.
I'd never scared anybody that good. And he looked like he wanted to fight me a little bit longer that time.
Yeah.
I don't remember him laughing after that one.
I feel like I did. I'm normally pretty good. I feel like I give myself credit. I feel like I'm a pretty good sport about it. If I'm play jokes on people, I got to be willing to take it too. A lot of guys can dish it out and they don't want to. They get mad when you get them back. I feel like I'm not that guy. I enjoy a good joke, whether it be played on me or not. And truth be told, I'm one of the jumpier guys at the station.
Oh yeah.
I was gonna say the levitating description must be true because Captain Weldon said the same thing.
Yeah.
Oh, when he jumps,
When
jumps.
he described
Oh,
it,
yeah.
he said he levitated.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Captain got me good. He put a rope in under my blanket. I'm terrified of snakes. So I get in there and I start getting cozy up and I stretch some legs out and I'm like, oh dear. And I come hollering out of there. They got me pretty good. Somebody tried to get me with that the other day and they put paracord in there and I slept in there all night. My feet kept getting kind of tangled up. I'm like, what in the world? And finally, I was good to go. And the next morning I get up to make it my bed and go to roll my bed up and there's just paracord hanging out of my blanket. I was like, dang. Somebody tried to get me, but I couldn't. I think it was Mike.
Somebody needs to put one of them fake snakes on a paracord and have that hanging out of your bunk and just pull on it. It feels like a snake just slithering through your daggum bunk.
I remember one day I go to I can't remember why I looked up, but I go to my bunk and I look up.
It was fishing wire.
Yeah, and there's tape on the ceiling.
Cody. It's Cody. And
I look and I'm like, man, it runs up into the
He
little
was so
AC.
proud of this.
He was.
And I look, I'm like, I see it, and I'm like, dang, there's a fake snake in there. Somebody done rigged it up to where this little gap is, where the AC blows in. He had it tucked up in there, tied to a fishing line, but he had the string over where my head would be. So when I went to bed, he was going to pull it to where that thing just fell out right on my chest.
Oh God.
He was so proud of it.
He said,
took a lot of work.
Oh yeah, he was on the truck and he was back there in Clint's buck working on it all day. He was so proud of it.
So I get in there, I immediately see the tape. I'm like, what the heck? And I walk out in the hallway and I see where it's going. It runs over to Captain's bunk. And I think it's Captain. Because Captain's, he's a prankster. But he's a little puppet master, too. Somebody's called me a puppet master last year, but Captain's really the one that you got to watch. He's always playing jokes, and nobody suspects him. But anyway, so I thought it was him. And Cody comes walking out. I'm like, hey, man, check this out. Captain's trying to get me. He's like, man. And that's what I found out he did. He said, I was back here for like an hour and a half.
Yeah, dude.
Trying to set this up.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it would have got me. Oh, he would have got me good.
He was working on it all day.
I believe I might have just died. If I felt that thing and looked and saw a snake, I might have just been the end of me. That was a pretty good one. I'm kind of sad it didn't work out, to be honest. Kinda, but that was a good one. Did you have something funny in mind? Did you have something funny?
I mean,
you said that you didn't, but do you have something now?
I kind of.
Okay.
Well, I remember. So I first got there. It was probably the first couple months. We get called out for pretty much it was a dead guy, and he had been dead for, I guess, probably that morning, to where the morgue was out there picking him up. Well, they got an old school stretcher. It was a big guy, and they just don't look at me like that.
Did y'all drop him?
Maybe. They need help getting him into it. I'm talking. Boy was like 400 or 500 pounds. So it's 2 of them and 3 of us on the engine go out there. So obviously me being a new guy, hey, you're up. So we're all over there. We're trying to carry him out it's a duplex off of Mitchell. So you can imagine how small the doors are. So we're trying to squeeze our way through there. And all of a sudden we hit the threshold of it. And that thing like cracks. And it goes boom. And he falls into the ground. And he's sliding back. And his son was obviously in distraught. But he's standing back there watching us.
Oh, man.
As we drop him, and we all kind of look at each other, and we're like, so we slide him back on the thing and get him back in the hearse. But that was one of the times I was all like, man, we really messed up. I feel like the bad news bears.
We're working the arrest. On one that made me think of this. We're working the arrest, and it's kind of the same thing. Somebody missed a step coming out, and they fell on the person.
Oh, man.
Oh. Oof. It was, you know what? It was the same arrest. We had a student was bagging them. They put an eye gel in, and they go to move the patient, and the kid just held onto the bag, and it pulled the whole eye gel out. He's just standing there. He's standing there with a BVM with an eye gel hooked to it, just like.
It's not supposed to be like that. No.
So, for those of you that don't know what an eye gel is, you put it down their throat, and the bag that you like breathing for them hooks to it, so that you can try to breathe for them. And it's like this long tube looking thing, and he's standing there with it sticking out. And then that's when they're like, "Don't worry about it. We're already moving. Let's get them loaded up, and then we'll figure it out." And that's when they kind of misstepped on the threshold and fell on top of it. Everything that could go wrong on that one, I feel like went wrong. And maybe
Dang.
that.
That's tough.
Especially working the rest.
Yeah,
It's like,
that's tough.
I was going to share a funny story, but it made me think of that one too. This was, and I'm not trying to make fun of this poor lady, but anyways, we get called out to like a 76, like an assistance call, and the text is weird. Like it doesn't really tell us what's going on. It's med unit only on 76, which normally we'd send an engine on. So everything about this from the rip is just kind of weird. And we read the text, and it's like, lady dropped her cell phone in the car, and now her hand's stuck because she tried to reach and get it.
Yep.
So we're like, what? So we get there, and the old girl had reached down to grab her phone, and she could fit her hand in between the seat and the console when she had her hand flat. When she grabbed her phone,
Couldn't.
she couldn't get it out anymore. Her phone was connected to Bluetooth, so she calls 911, held on to the phone the whole time. So we go over there, and we get there. She was like, I just can't get my hand out. My hand's stuck. And I look, I'm like, ma'am, let go of your phone. Comes right out. And then I just reached in from the back, like, look, it's a convertible. So, like, I didn't even have to open the door. I just reached in the back seat because it fell out in the floorboard, and I just handed it to her phone.
Dang.
Servant.
Servant.
Yep.
You know, I don't mean to make fun of that lady.
That's an easy call.
But every time we talk about a funny call, I think about sharing that one. I don't have I ever told that one before.
I don't think so.
Well, if I have, and I've told it
I
twice.
haven't heard it.
But anyways,
That's good. That's good.
I want to backtrack a little bit too. I was kind of thinking as we were talking. I was talking about kind of my faith and feeling like calls don't really bother me as much now because I do feel like I'm a little bit stronger in my faith, a little bit more confident in that, and I feel like calls haven't bothered me quite the same. I just kind of want to piggyback. I felt like I should say that I'm certainly not saying that, like, if a call bothers you, that it doesn't mean that you're not strong in your faith, because I'm sure that there's people that are strong in their faith and have a good relationship with Jesus and still have faced challenges, whether it be in this career or not, that bother them, affect them, and maybe stick with them. I certainly am not saying that from, a couple different aspects. I'm not saying that, hey, you have a relationship with Jesus, you're not going to have any trouble at all. I'm not saying that. I think it makes facing trouble in the trials that you face in your life, I think it makes it easier. I absolutely believe that. But I'm not saying that, one, you won't face any trials or any difficulties in your life. You certainly still will. It just makes it a little easier to navigate. And I'm also, what I'm really not saying is you can still have a great relationship with Jesus. You can be a follower of Jesus. You can be, everything can be exactly where it needs to be. And I'm sure that there's still going to be calls that we run that bother people. We just see some stuff that people don't. It's not normal for people to see some of the things that we see. And so please, if something's bothering you or something's bothered you in the past and you're listening to this, please don't think that I was saying that you weren't strong in your faith, because that's not what I'm saying at all. I just have noticed a difference in my life with having more of a relationship with Jesus and being stronger in my faith has affected my life in such a positive way, is all I was really trying to say. And I just felt like I should backtrack a little bit. I've kind of felt like I just wanted to touch that again, if that makes sense. So
Kind of goes back to our scripture for tonight, verse 19, chapter 34 of Psalms. But it says, many are the afflictions of the righteous. So, like, just because we have a good relationship with Christ or with God, or are in right standing with Him, like, doesn't guarantee us that those afflictions and troubles aren't going to come. They're going to be many, but the Lord delivers him, or the Lord delivers him out of them all.
I think it's one of the first things I think that we going with, you start reading the Bible, at least for me, is I realize is, most of the time I would say growing up, I was like, hey, you live, if you know Jesus, you live a certain way, it's going to be easy. He'll answer your prayers, you do all this. But I think one of those things that I realize is, like, just because you have a relationship with Christ doesn't mean it's going to be easy. Mm-hmm. And He actually tells us in the Bible, that we were going to face persecution. Mm-hmm. Going off of that, it's like, yeah, we will come and we do hard things, but, He will be with us through it.
Absolutely.
So, have we hit all the bullet points?
I think
all the
so.
talking points? I feel like we have.
I will share a funny story about myself.
Nice.
So, you got to be able to laugh at yourself, right? But, so I was on patrol, and it was night shift. I think it was probably one of my first rotations on night shift. Just riding around the county. The area I was working was very rural, like a very rural area. I mean, just checking like subdivisions and businesses and stuff. And the area I was working wasn't a very, like, busy, like, calls for service type area, especially at night. I'm out there checking the it's the Georgia Forestry Commission or whatever it's called, but there's like nothing out there. It's like 2 or 3 a.m. Might be a little later than that. Might be like 4 a.m. And
2, 3, 4.
somewhere.
Sounds
I mean, I just meant like late. Like
People should be sleeping.
I was definitely tired,
I'll bet.
and man, I dozed off, and the next thing I know, like I'm hearing my lieutenant's voice on the radio, and he's saying, radio, what was his last location? Or, what was the last thing logged? And dispatch is like, Georgia Forestry Commission. And I'm like, I'm still like kind of waking up, and I'm like, oh man, like,
I'm at the
Georgia Forestry Commission. And I'm like, radio, I'm 10-4.
How long have they been trying to reach it?
I don't know. I think it had been like 10 minutes or longer, probably. I mean, maybe not that long, but
I
still.
thought you were about to say it's been an hour and a half.
Yeah, it was shift change. Yeah, something like that.
Somebody knocked on the window.
Someone's coming up.
Oh man, that would be
Can
something.
we help you, sir? You've been parked here for 7 hours.
Yeah,
That's funny.
nice.
So yeah, I'm glad I heard my lieutenant's voice and not getting woke up by a stranger.
Oh, dude. So I'm assuming they do like periodical check-ins on you guys.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
okay,
yeah.
I gotcha.
And I think that's what
They
that's
reached
how it
out to
came
you
up.
and
Yeah.
you wasn't answering.
Yeah.
Give the boy a break. Just need a little nappy.
Just radio wants to talk. That's
That's
all
right.
it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't need to check on me every 5 minutes.
Do they do that even if you're not on a call, or is it just like?
Yeah, so like they're usually around like midnight, I think it was. Pretty much like every hour on the hour. Like if you weren't on something, they'd check in on each unit on shift.
I gotcha.
Yeah. Yep.
They'd be catching me all the time, parked in the back parking lot, somewhere, catching a little shut eye.
So both of y'all say y'all listened to the show before, right?
Mm-hmm.
So have y'all heard Clint's encouragement through song segment?
I think a couple times.
A couple times?
I think,
Couple
yeah.
times? All right. You have one today?
Can I borrow somebody's phone? I do.
Okay. So
What you need pulled up?
we're gonna
YouTube?
Give me your Spotify, please.
roll into
It's got Chris Brown in it.
Nice.
encouragement with Clint.
All right, I've mentioned this one before. I felt like it was very fitting for today. This is one, I know, like I say, I know I've mentioned it before, but I almost didn't want to say this one again just because I had mentioned it before, but it goes along with Psalm 34. It's Trust in God, it's Elevation Worship, and Chris Brown.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason I remember sharing it is because I made a joke about it's not the Chris Brown you're thinking of, I'm sure. But anyways, so Trust in God,
a good
and
song.
it's in the words is, I sought the Lord, and He heard, and He answered. And for us, our story with Rhett is I couldn't remember his Elevation Worship who sings it. I remember Chris Brown, but anyways, that's what I needed. But our story with Rhett, which I've shared before, we had some uncertainty with the pregnancy with that, and we just gave it to God and trusted in Him. We sought the Lord, and He heard, and He answered for us. And that song really just sticks out to us. It just resonates with us so much. And then when you and I were talking about potential notes and stuff for this, when you said Psalm 34, I read through Psalm 34, and I was like, man, these are the words of the song right here, which I love that when I finally find them, like getting to hear the songs that I enjoy and finding it in Scripture too. Because if you really pay attention, you'll find a lot.
Oh yeah.
In songs. But anyway, so I wanted to share that one again. Another one that I heard recently, and I can't think of the lyrics to it, that I really enjoyed was King of Hearts. Was that Brandon Lake? I think I thought that was really good. I know he's got a whole album called King of Hearts, but the song specifically King of Hearts I think is worth a
I don't know
listen.
if I've heard that one. I'll have to look it up.
It's pretty good.
So there's another one on there that is called Spare Change.
I haven't heard
It's
that
really
one.
good. You should listen to that one. You enjoy it. It's pretty much about, he paints it as a picture of like a guy in need. He's just coming and asking for some spare change, and pretty much God gives him more than that. So it's kind of like us coming and asking for him for whatever, but he's gonna give us what we ask for and more. But it's a really good song.
Are these more recent than the Hard Fought Hallelujah?
It's on the same album.
It's on the same album? Okay. I'll have to check it out.
I feel like that one might have even got released a little early.
Hard Fought Hallelujah.
Maybe.
Yeah,
Sometimes
they
they'll
did.
add like little teasers or whatever. They'll release like 2 or 3 songs or whatever.
I think it's because
I feel
he
like
had
that
it
one-
with Jelly Roll. I think that's
maybe.
probably why it got released.
Oh, okay,
early.
gotcha.
But I've heard a couple of them. I haven't heard the Spare Change. I'll try that one. I was gonna say something. I thought of something. I can't think of what it is now. Come and gone. What was I gonna say? No, gone forever.
Did it again.
My bad. That's not what I was gonna say for sure. But
I got a question for y'all.
yeah,
Okay.
I got one. Where have y'all seen that your faith has grown?
Where?
Yeah. Like how, I guess, where have you seen the fruits of your faith recently, within the last couple of years or whatever, that you can see that you have changed or is getting stronger?
This podcast, for sure. For me, I feel like it's like our own little men's group. We get to come and it's disciplined me to look into some other stuff. Like I feel like I've done a better job of trying to get into the Word and do some studying. But it also is like I wouldn't have read Psalm 34 if it wasn't for Jacob, mentioning it to bring it, for the show. I wouldn't have read through that recently. So it's caused me to do more studying. It's caused me to do, which Jacob and I had a relationship before the podcast too, through our church, which is incredible too. Like going to your church and getting involved, and finding different people and just having kind of that fellowship with other believers, other followers of Jesus is so huge. But he had suggested a podcast to me, the Enduring Words for Troubled Times with David Guzik. I listen to that all the time. And so what I'll find myself doing is I'll go listen to the Bible. I'll listen to the reading of the Bible, and then I'll go back and listen to how he kind of breaks it down, which I found to be very helpful for me. So I'm not just listening and kind of trailing off in thought. I'm listening to it, and then I'm going to listen to somebody elaborating on it. And it sounds kind of like what you're talking about with your study Bible. It gives you a little more context behind it. It helps you understand it a little bit better, and I found a lot of that. But, me and you talking about stuff at the station, you talking about listening to the Bible on the way in, kind of a little light bulb went off over my head. Why have I not been doing that? Been doing that a little bit more. And then he told me about that podcast, and I was able to put those two together. And it's made a big difference in my life. And just being a part of this podcast, and I've told other people this, I know I've told y'all this before, I'd never expected in a million years to get asked to be a part of this. And kind of in the back of my mind, I was like, I don't know if I'm ready to do something like that. I don't know if they got the right guy. But I'm very thankful for the opportunity to be a part of it, and I'm very glad that I said yes. And I've had a lot of people reach out, and I know Scotty's talked about this too. I think we all have. Different people reaching out. I just got a message this past week from somebody in the fire department. He's like, hey, man, I didn't know you were part of a podcast. Just listen to it. Keep up the great work, or whatever. Just little stuff like that. It's kind of it's been a cool thing to see that what we're doing. It's great for us. It's worth it for just us getting here together and talking. I've taken so much away from it, and it's changed me, which I already felt like I was already kind of get better, so to speak. Like getting better about spending time in God's Word, getting better about praying. Even though I'm still not quite where I want to be, I feel like this has been a great stepping stone to get me moving. Such a huge step for me. But then also seeing that, because I said yes, I'm a part of this. I'm potentially reaching other people too, and sharing the gospel. So does that answer your question?
Yeah.
I feel like this has been huge in my life for sure. And then our Bible study at the station too.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking.
Man, that's so cool. Like because I think y'all mentioned it on Captain Wilton's episode, like just bringing that up, and I had no clue that y'all were doing that. Like, that's just such a cool
And that was
such
Tristen,
a cool thing. Yeah, I mean, like,
you having bringing that up to us has made a positive impact in all of our lives that are part of it. I think, especially mine for sure. I can say for certain that it has, and I believe that it has for other guys too in our crew.
So you're bringing spirituality and faith, like, literally into into the job, into the firehouse. Like, that's awesome.
Yeah, it kind of all started just because, I guess, a year and a half ago, I remember sitting in church and they were going over a series, and it basically went over, where in your life are you leaving God out? Because He wants to be a part of all of your life.
Everything, yeah.
And immediately sitting there, I immediately thought about work, and I'm like, how do I do that? But I never acted on it, so I was like, whatever. So time keeps going by, and stuff kept coming up, and I'll hear at the station, I hear everybody talking about faith in general, going to church and stuff like that, and just finally, I think I asked him about it. I was like, hey, you ever done a small group at work? And he was like, no, I never really thought about it.
Yeah.
And I was like, would you be opposed to it? And he said no. So I kind of gauged some more guys, and I was like, well, I think it would be good to do it. So I remember, like, the first day that we did it, we kind of went around the room and shared kind of all our testimonies, and it was good. And I think it's been good since then, especially, like, you get people who, we get a bunch of overtimers, swap timers, whatever, clinical students. We come in, and it's been cool to see even, those guys. I had no idea what they're walking into, but a lot of them, they step right into it. Like obviously they believe as well, and it's like, man, that's, it's just pretty cool. So that was one of those things, because I don't think, a couple of years ago, I would not thought about doing that at all.
Well,
it still makes me nervous now sometimes to do it, but I was like,
shoot, man, when you mentioned it, I was like, kind of like earlier, like we're talking about praying, going into church before you. To me, I was like, hey, why have I not been doing that? When you mentioned that, I was like, why have we not been doing this? That's a great idea. And then you mentioned, like, so there's different people from different crews come work with us, whether it be overtime, whatever. And it's cool seeing other people jumping right in with it, like they've been going through the whole thing with us all along. And then there's other folks too that you see that may not jump right in, but you see them reading in their Bible, on their phone, following along with us, and it's cool to see. We've had a lot of really good conversations with some folks that we don't even really know.
And just like you mentioned too earlier, there's a couple in particular I'm thinking about, but you can see that it's affecting them in a way that is good, and that's been a good thing to see. And this was really cool. I guess kind of see how the Lord work.
Yeah.
Just because I'm not gonna take credit for it.
Yeah.
But this is one of those things that hopefully I can kind of do what He's called us to do, kind of just share His word and just kind of let Him take it from there.
Yeah, that's right. Giving Him the opportunity to do what He does.
Yeah.
And that's a cool thing about that is He can use us all the time for stuff like that. He doesn't really need us, but
No.
it's cool that He will use us, for stuff like that to help each other, to reach other people. It's pretty cool, for sure.
I think it was a couple of days after that episode, we got a message, like agency-wide message, from one of the guys saying that that our chaplain was, because we kind of had like a new chaplain, like, I guess, sworn in. I don't know, I guess, with the new sheriff, but that he was actually gonna that there was a Bible study coming up that he was putting on, and so I don't know, like God's on the move. I think for sure, like
100%.
in our service and and first responding for sure. But yeah, and to kind of answer your question, I'll answer it too. But here, like recently over the past few years, just kind of diving more into scripture, and I mean that's really been the biggest thing that's helped me grow in my faith. But more, I guess deeper than that or more than that, like you kind of said it earlier, Tristen, about like you kind of like growing up, you had this not philosophy, like theology, I guess, that was taught about like, you believe in God, believe in Jesus, like accept him into your heart, like everything's gonna be sunshine and rainbows, like so definitely like that was me growing up, and what was taught to me a lot of times, I feel like, or at least that's how I perceived it, like that's how I received it.
Yeah.
And so just getting away from that, like trying to, like I said, get in the word more and study it more, and just diving into that truth of that's not what it's about. And just recognizing that, like, yes, there are we're guaranteed to go through those hard times, and we're guaranteed to go through sacrifice, and struggles, but like Christ did it first.
Yep.
And I think that's where our, assurance and like encouragement comes from, to let us know that we can, that we can do it too, because he did it first.
Yeah.
And just, yeah, I mean, it's kind of been a long, like, I mean, it's still a process.
Yeah.
Like we're not going to achieve that like perfection. And so, but yeah, there's been like steps along the way too. Like we had a scare in the hospital with our youngest, our baby girl. And man, it was just like, it's so crazy to think about now, but it was like we were in that moment of like, okay, God, like even if it doesn't work out, like even if we lose her, you're still good,
Yeah.
And but yeah, I mean, it was just like that surrender that had to come,
Yeah.
and that was kind of like one of the biggest, I guess, steps in my faith journey so far that I've had to take, like, for sure, because there was that moment of uncertainty if we were gonna have her or not, and so, but thankfully it did work out, and she's here with us, but
Almost a year old.
yeah, that's right. 1 month from now, be a year old. But yeah, it was like when we were in the hospital, we had obviously so many times that we were praying, just together, as husband and wife over our girl. But like, we definitely had those prayers of like, I can't remember the scripture reference, but it was that moment of like, Lord, we believe, help our unbelief, so that was, I hope that answered your question.
No, it does.
But
It
yeah,
does.
so we do, you got anything?
On that note, as far as like something that's just made me grow as of recently, I feel like it's just a lot of positive influence, really, and like being around a lot of good like-minded people in the workplace. also. Obviously, still talk to Captain Weldon. We all know that he's really good Christian dude. But even now, being at a different station than when we were all together at 11, like one thing that I'll do is I'll just ask guys, how's your off days, how's your Sundays, and man, every I'm fortunate, every single one of them, they're all really really good, solid Christian dudes too. And I'll ask them, like, okay, so yeah, what y'all talk about in your church service or your men's group, and I'll hear what they have to say, and I'll tell them what we talked about. And I feel like that also sort of helps you grow yourself, but also grow together.
Yeah.
And having that camaraderie and like-minded relationship with all the guys that you work with. It's definitely something special, and something that also that could be taken for granted, because I feel like that's one thing that we're all sort of blessed with in the work that we do, is that more often than not, and it also comes back to the question, we talked about earlier, is like, how do you feel about how it would be to do the job that we do if you weren't strong in your faith, if you didn't believe in God, believe in Jesus. I feel like because of that, we're a lot of people that do what we do is like-minded, But yeah, I would say that for me is just still being fortunate to be around a lot of positive influence. It helps me on the day in, day out, for sure.
It's good.
Iron sharpens iron.
That's right.
Yeah, 100%.
So one man sharpens another.
Good stuff, y'all. Prayer requests?
So DeKalb County just had a line of duty death. Preston Fant. So I can't imagine what his crew is experiencing right now, his family. So definitely want to keep them in your prayers. They need it now. Can't really think of anything else right off. That's definitely the one that came to my mind. But I know that like Connor works with some of the guys at his part time.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that some of those guys are, understandably having a hard time. I couldn't imagine it, so we definitely need to lift them up for sure.
Absolutely.
Y'all know of anybody you want to pray for or anything?
That's what I was gonna say. Yeah, definitely keep the Cab brothers in your thoughts and prayers.
Yeah, it was very recent. I don't know if you had heard about it.
Yeah.
I figured you probably had, but when folks are listening to this, it might be a couple weeks from now by the time it gets released. But I'm sure they'll still need the prayers.
Absolutely.
So definitely want to keep them in.
I would say we got the opportunity to go down there the other day for the day of his funeral and kind of backfill one of their stations, run calls for him and stuff. And one of their battalion chiefs was there, came by, talked to us, and he started talking about what happened a little bit and just kind of who Preston Fant was, and you can hear it in his voice, like how just hurt he was, and then just like you're saying, hearing just some of how those guys are going through that Connor works with, him and Cap Weldon, and it's like those guys are wrecked, and rightfully so. Like, so I know those guys are going through a rough time.
Yeah, I can't imagine how his family feels right now either. Go get them, brothers.
That's a lot. Maybe we should.
You held them in.
So what, during the prayer this time?
Kara went header hunting the other day. She's leaving the gym, and she
Nice.
goes, "Hey, you see all that smoke in Monroe?" I'm like, "No." I look up. I'm like, "Yeah, I do now." I was like, "No kidding." She's like, "I'm gonna go see what it is." I'm like, "Yeah, go tell me." So she went looking.
Heck yeah.
It was like a car shop over here burning.
Oh yeah, I saw that. I mean, I saw the news on that.
I was proud. Going header hunting.
She saw a good one. I heard that was a pretty impressive header.
How'd you hear about it?
Man, I don't know people.
Did you see it too?
Nah.
Oh, I figured
Nah,
you'd
that-
be out here chasing it down too.
Yeah, from Oglethorpe to Monroe.
He has before.
I'm not. Yeah.
Passing through town, having to see it.
Titan.
Yeah. Oh, if I see something, I'm gonna go check it out. But
We've done it before together.
yeah,
Remember
we
down
have
there
in
making?
Macon. Yeah.
We were going on a hunting
You
trip.
could probably just drive through Macon at any point and see a header somewhere. Yeah.
Good
I was
times.
speaking of that, talking about prayer requests. I actually do have one. One of my buddies that actually works in Macon made a grab. Last night, maybe the night before, he burned his arms up a little bit. And he had to go to Augusta to have surgery for his burns, and just keep him in mind. Surgery's done. He's good, but he unfortunately he did get pretty burnt up on his hands. So just keep him and his family in y'all's prayers for sure. Hopefully he recovers fast.
Is this the same fellow you thought was on that fire?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I thought
He's
it
a-
might be.
He's a good fireman, man. He's solid, really good dude too. So yeah, just keep him in y'all's prayers.
Absolutely.
Did y'all see about that church in Michigan?
Yes.
Oh yeah, I did. Briefly I read something about it.
I just saw like the picture of it on fire, but I didn't know like what
So
else
went in there and
happened.
shot it up, didn't they? And then set it on fire.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
I'm not here about
That's
that.
what it seemed like anyway.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure multiple people got shot. Somebody was killed,
Dang.
and then they set it on fire. I don't know any of the back. That's all I know.
Yeah, yeah,
Recent, like today, or
yeah. It was pretty recent.
Pretty-
I mean,
the last couple
I saw
days,
the
at
I saw the
least.
post this morning. I think.
I haven't read like an article about it
Yeah.
or anything, but it was very brief
Yeah.
what I saw. So I don't know what. I think that I want to say one of the fatalities was the whoever was shooting or whatever. I think police ended up.
Mhm.
I can't remember. You said where'd you say it was?
Michigan,
Michigan?
I think.
Yeah, that's got to be the one I'd read a little bit about. I was actually planning on looking into it and seeing. I just hadn't gotten around to it yet. Man, that's terrible, man. What? I hate hearing stuff like that. But absolutely, we're praying for those folks affected by that.
For sure. For sure.
You got any folks you know or anything? A little, or there's just so
I don't
many.
know.
You
I was
think
saying,
about.
I don't know that I really have like many or not any new ones that are like personal, but yeah, I mean just everything going on in our nation.
Yeah, a lot of people in need. Definitely wants to keep praying for the King family too. I know.
Yeah, for sure.
I always feel like there's so many more that I'm leaving out. Y'all ever do that? Like when you're praying, you're like, God, I know there's some folks that
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I know He knows the need.
Yeah.
But sometimes there's folks I want to pray for, and I don't think about. I love how Scotty keeps a list of it, man. And I need to start referencing that. Crack
does.
one eye open.
He does such a good job keeping up with those.
He does, man. But anyway, so
But
Well, shoot.
you want to pray? Or
I
you want me to
can
pray?
absolutely. I sure will. First of all, I want to thank you boys for coming, man.
That's right.
I can't thank you enough. I know it's getting late, and I know y'all got a good ride home, and we got to work tomorrow. But I appreciate y'all taking the time to come, man. I've thoroughly enjoyed being here with you, so I hope y'all have enjoyed it too. But
Oh yeah.
I appreciate the invite.
Thanks for having us.
absolutely, can't thank you enough.
Yeah, it was great meeting you both and spending some time with you guys, for sure.
You too.
Thank you.
It was a good time.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Cool. Well, I'll pray and wrap this thing up. Heavenly Father, thank you so much for this day. Thank you for this group of guys. Thank you for the opportunity to get together and to talk about you and to share stories that hopefully will bring somebody closer to you. And God, Lord, just be with anybody that needs you. I know that we just mentioned so many prayer requests. Please continue to be with the Fant family, his brothers, and the fire service, and just help them as they mourn his loss. Lord, just wrap them in comfort and peace. Just provide them with the peace that only you can provide, and just help them through this difficult time. Help them to support each other during this difficult time. Lord, continue to be with the King family. I know that they're still going through a difficult time. And God, the families and friends of the people affected by the tragedy up in Michigan. I know there's so many folks that need you, and I know you know the need. But God, just be with those that need you and help them through this difficult time. Provide them with peace and comfort and healing. And Lord, just thank you again for this wonderful day. Thank you again for this group of guys, and thank you again for the opportunities you've given us. We're so truly blessed. Help us to be an example of your love to those around us. And Lord, just we want you to know that we love you. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Struggling with those headphones again? I'm going to wrap it up while Clint's trying to figure out that over there.
What'd you say? I really didn't hear you. Is it about my headphones?
Yeah.
I had to, okay. Context clues.
All right, y'all. We're going to get out of here. Thanks for tuning in. Hit that like, subscribe button, share with a friend. Again, if you need anything or have any prayer requests or you want to share a story with us, you can hit us up at respondcommunity@gmail.com. That's respondcommunity@gmail.com. Facebook, Instagram. Give us a follow. Give us a like. But that's it. Gonna get out of here. Peace.
Can we save that grunt for something?
Maybe.
So we're-
Probably.
Now that okay. Good to go?
Yeah. I think.